Now, I know what many of you are sort of probably thinking to yourself, like, what the heck is DMV Rising? I've had a few friends in this audience kind of say to me, it sounds like the name of like a breakfast shop or a coffee bakery or something like that. It is not that. Even though we do have some good coffee that you guys can enjoy during the course of the day, it is definitely not that. To be completely honest, just setting some context, this regional economy and this group of people in this room is the fourth most material contributor to innovation on the cyber stage globally every year. You could look at that story and you can kind of say to yourself, that's a good news story. You can also look at that and say to yourself, it's glass half empty. So glass half full, glass half empty. And I just know this, that we have an opportunity today with this second year of DMV Rising to celebrate and really shed a light on the incredible innovation that's happening in our backyard every single day with some amazing entrepreneurs, amazing category creators, and amazing scale companies that are operating every day with incredible partners in the DoD and the federal government community. And we should celebrate that. But I also want to make sure that we're fostering authentic conversations about, like, what could we do better? Like as a community, have we reached our potential? Why is number 4 good enough? Why can't we be 3? Look at Tel Aviv. I mean, there's a lot that this community can do beyond where we are, I think, and challenging ourselves with those kinds of conversations is super healthy. So that's the ethos of this conference. And to do that, we're incredibly fortunate to have with us today an amazing list of speakers, just real world-class innovators, entrepreneurs, people who are engineers who've been there, done that, created open source projects, released software to production to solve hard problems for customers in every single conceivable industry. And we are grateful to all of them for being here. We are also grateful to our partners and our sponsors, all of which you can see here on the signage and throughout. Without them, we're not here. Thank you very much to all of you who have been supportive of this in year 2. Again, remind you, last year was an experiment. We weren't sure if this made sense. We put it together. It was a successful experiment. This is year 2. We're scaling it. We have no idea where this thing goes because we are literally making it up as we go. But, it's exciting to see all of you here today. And one last thing before I hand it over to our, amazing MC, Dave Bittner from N2K Cyberwire, as I just want to say thanks to my team members at Virtru, who've done a tremendous amount of work lifting up shovels and just digging this thing into the ground and building the foundation. That would be Carissa Nee, Megan Leader, Angie Johnson, Connor Byram, and Shelby Imes. Thank you guys very much. And then lastly, I want to say thanks to John and Will Ackerley, the co-founders of Virtru. They are pillars in this community as well, have been for a long time. And we are really very grateful for you guys to host us here in this incredible facility. It's very much appreciated. So thank you guys for that. And so with that, Dave, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you do your thing.
Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you all for being here today. This is a great opportunity to be here right down in the middle of the nation's capital, the place where it happens, a stone's throw away. So thank you all for taking time out and being with us here today. My name is Dave Bittner. I am from N2K Cyberwire. I am the host of the Cyberwire Daily Newscast, which some of you may be familiar with. I see a few nodding heads out there. Before we begin, I would love to see, with a show of hands, this event is DMV Rising. How many of you align yourselves with the D, the district? All right. How about the M, the Maryland? Very good. And last but certainly not least, the V, the Virginia. Ooh, Virginia. All right. It's not going to be like a Sharks versus Jets thing before the night is over, but it's great to have you all here. Before we get into today's program, we have a special guest here today, a true VIP, and it is my pleasure to introduce her. Joining us today is Deputy Mayor Nina Albert, and we are thrilled to have her here with us today. Please join me in welcoming her.
Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you for Virtru for not only hosting us today, but also we did a ribbon cutting about a year ago to this beautiful space. And we're just really delighted and grateful that you're here, that you're expanding, and that you're hosting this incredible event today. So thank you. I like to, first of all, get to know tech a little bit better. I am an engineer, but I'm a mechanical engineer, and I failed miserably at both computer science and electrical engineering. So I'm grateful for all of you around the room who are much more talented in that space than I am. But I came into this job almost a year ago and took a look at, kind of what the DC's economic status was, what was going on coming out of COVID, what are our strategies. And I just kind of want to share some thoughts about not just Washington, D.C., which is obviously my purview, but D.C. is the core of this region, and our collective success matters. And in this space, technology in particular is an area where this region leads currently and just has so much more room to grow. And so I'm excited about that growth, and I want to harness it, I want to feed it, and we want to encourage it and celebrate it. So I just want to talk a few minutes about what we're trying to achieve as a city. We've always been an economy of feds, eds, and meds. All three of those sectors continue to grow. Feds have a lot to do with the growth of our cybersecurity industry. And so the fact that we have the greatest concentration of the biggest buyers likely in the world of this kind of technology is the underpinning of why DC and the DMV is doing so well. We have been named the #1 tech hub in the country per US Forbes. There's lots of indicators of how strong this economy is. And so as we look into the future, how do we curate the tech environment so that it supports your growth, your expansion, and our country's safety and security? I think that as I try and marry sort of the future of DC and what is happening out in the environment, I really think not only about access to capital, technical assistance, and then and the networking and conferencing that really supports the growth of this industry. I also think about the ecosystem that allows people to live here and for talent to continue to stay here. So that's why people are coming. You all know this. Your companies seeking talent, seeking access to the federal government, all the different agencies and influencers that are here. But our job now is to really pivot and create our downtown as one area, and there's probably a couple others, I think along the Anacostia, both west and east of the Anacostia, as landing zones or as hubs for significant tech activity. And so we're looking at trying to round out that experience that supports your business by also continuing to attract and retain talent. And we're doing that by introducing more housing here. We're introducing more spaces that support your ecosystem and want to learn about how to do that better and better. DC, in terms of how important this aspect of our economic diversity is, what we're trying to do and what we have done is started to create incentives. We've not done that in the past. We have a program called the Vitality Fund, and it, I think, has supported Virtue's headquarters here. It allows us to also seek other companies and new companies and support them and bring them here. We also just launched earlier this year the Global Soft Landing Program, which is another hub on 19th Street called Studio, which really invites international companies to come to DC, navigate, the visa and other kinds of, international, kind of work programs, so that they can come here, see if they want to stay in DC, but as importantly, see if there's other parts in the United States where they want to grow and build their business. And so DC is the logical place to continue to grow a global marketplace. And then the last thing that I'll say is I traveled to London, I traveled to Berlin, really trying to understand what it takes to make an exciting and dynamic tech community. And through, what I got back was that creating an environment of innovation and diversity is incredibly important, because that dynamicism is what people are trying to unlock, seeking out where there's demand, seeking out where there's talent. And so I think there is no better place than the DMV, where you can have among the most diverse populations anywhere in the country. and one of the most diverse business communities that include international businesses, Black-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, businesses from around that are rooted in the defense field. We have an incredibly diverse business ecosystem here. And I think we've got the ingredients to lead and to have cyber be part of our distinct future and competitive advantage in the future. And I'm so grateful for all of you here today that are contributing to that are growing that ecosystem. And I'm here to be your partner. If there's anything that we can do for you, please reach out. I want to introduce you all, and I'm going to point you to Sarah Adams, who's going to be with you for part of the day. Wave, Sarah, don't be shy. But anyway, so we have people here who, anything that we can do, again, to support you. If you've got an idea, you got an innovation, DC has always had the great ability to be nimble. It's the distinct advantage that we have as a city, which is to respond when there's an opportunity to be had. And I'm looking for ideas about how our city in particular can collaborate with the federal government to create those innovation districts, and other kinds of tools that maybe the feds are looking for a partner in. So for those of you who are very familiar with the Fed industry or federal players in this, just keep that in mind. If there's something that you're like, that would really make a difference to this ecosystem, and how do I engage the government to do that? We are all ears, and we have a tremendous team that can help support an initiative that would make a difference. Thank you so much, and have a great conference.